With the recent rise of Lobotomy Kaisen and the possible return of One Punch Man visible in the horizon, I thought, what better time to talk about two of my favorite characters than the present. So today we'll be looking at a fight between the dominator of the universe, Boros, and the strongest curse, Jogoat. Both are extremely overpowered, both are Giga Chads, and both have a single eye each, so I believe this to be a very fitting matchup. In this video, I shall examine their power, abilities, and intelligence, and by the end, you will have the objective answer as to which of these two units is stronger.
It is time!
Starting with Boros, this beast of a man is a force to be reckoned with. The databooks state he can destroy a star, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. When Boros first laid eyes on Saitama, he remarked that there is no limit to the Baldy's energy, yet he was still confident he could fight him and defeat him. This already makes Boros universal because he's confident he can beat someone with infinite energy. You may say this is inconsistent, but it is in fact backed up by numerous feats and statements. For one, Saitama and Garo's clash wiped out numerous stars and galaxies and left a hole in the observable universe. This was when the force of their blow was specifically condensed to go in one direction. So if the backlash of this attack wasn't restricted in this manner, it is likely that the blast would have gone in all directions like all explosions do and wiped out the entire universe. This is impressive for Boros because the Cyclops actually blitzed and damaged Saitama on numerous occasions during their battle, and by the end, Saitama called Boros magnificent and vowed to never forget him. Another crazy piece of lore for Boros is the fact that it is stated in the One Punch Man Encyclopedia section about God that God specifically only became active after Saitama defeated Boros, because at that point, God was under the belief that Boros was completely invincible and was afraid to make any moves specifically because of his existence. Crazy. Later, when Boros returns after his training arc during the Monster Association raid, he performs one of the most disgusting beatdowns I have ever seen. After the god-powered Garo kills everyone and Saitama suddenly disappears, the alien steps up to fight the martial artist. And Garo is talking some smack, he thinks he's about to body Boros. However, as punishment for this, Boros uses his new time loop ability and proceeds to body Garo. He then resets the fight and bodies Garo again, and again, and again, and again, all in different ways. Garo keeps all his memories from all these massacres and it starts to break him. He even tries to copy Boros several times, but it's quickly revealed that Boros is so strong that it is actually impossible for Cosmic Garo to copy his powers. Garo becomes desperate and he tries to find Saitama and ask him to save him, but then it turns out Boros already one-shot Saitama before this fight even began. Garo is left terrified and mentally broken after this, and he starts begging for Boros to tell him why he did this whole time loop thing, only for Boros to say he wanted to show the hero hunter that no matter what he did, no matter how many times they fought, no matter what kind of techniques or strategies Garo used, there was absolutely no way for him to win against Boros. Crazy. This is where the manga continuity feats of Boros end for now, but in the webcomic, the alien is performing some of the most ridiculous feats I've ever seen. Hoping to cure his boredom, he legit breaks out of the pages of the webcomic and enters different franchises in search of a worthy opponent. He slaughters countless verses, but the two most impressive showings he has are one-shotting Cosmic Armor Superman, and, I kid you not, bodying Bugs Bunny. I can't show you what he did on screen because that would get the video taken down, but I can at least describe the brutal fatality he performed here. So after Boros snagged Bugs Bunny's Toon Force like it was nothing, he grabs both of his ears and pulls them in different directions until he literally rips Bugs Bunny in half, skull to crotch. absolutely bonkers.
As the strongest curse, Jogoat, fought the fraud, the king of curses, he began to open his domain. Sukuna shrunk back in fear. Then Jogo said,
"Stand proud, Sukuna. You are strong."
Moving over to Jogoat, he might not have as many showings as Boros, but the stuff he has done is just ridiculous. Firstly, we have to mention some of the top tiers from Lobotomy Kaisen and the stuff they can pull off. Gojo creates an infinite void with infinite space and infinite information with his domain, making him at least universal. Sukuna, no manga spoilers, is able to fight Gojo competitively, making him at least universal as well. We also know that inside a domain, the user of it becomes massively stronger. With that established, tell me how Jogoat was able to neg Gojo inside Gojo's own domain. And let's not forget his legendary beatdown of Sukuna. The former King of Curses legit started crying after being complimented by Jogoat. This shows how admired and worshipped the GOAT is among his peers. But that's not even the end of it. Much like Boros, Jogoat is strong enough to break out of his own verse and travel throughout fiction freely. However, he's a lot more respectful and kinder than Boros, so he doesn't just seek out fights with people he knows he will body. This is important to know because when Omni King Zeno approaches him and invites him to a duel, the GOAT simply declines. He also declines matches against the Worldbreaker Hulk and Batman with insane prep time. And one of the craziest showings he has was when the One Above All in the Presence challenged Gojo to a 2-on-1. And when he initially declined, they just attack him with no warning. And this fight was pretty brutal. Jogoat was dancing around them and treating them like little kids. In the end, he cooked them pretty badly, but didn't kill them. And it was also very obvious that he wasn't even taking the fight seriously either. But that's not even it. Some of Jogoat's most impressive showings come from the Interdimensional Fiction Tournament, or IDFT for short. This is a tournament described in the Kakuzu Shinden novels, and it's basically what it sounds like. Fighters from many fictional verses can enter and battle it out in a massive arena. Notable competitors of this tournament include Shaggy, Uganda Knuckles, Harambe, Farmer with a Shotgun, El Hermano, Lord Goribus, Yamcha, Lady Tenten, and many others. And while we haven't actually seen any of these tournaments go down on page, many of the richest characters in fiction come to bet on the victor each time this event is held, and the manager of the tournament blatantly says that he always bets on Jogoat. Since he's the manager, he's presumably seen each and every single one of these tournaments, and all the strong guys that gather here, but he still always bets on Jogoat. This is particularly impressive because Shaggy enters the tournament regularly, and Shaggy in the framed Kamikaze arc of Scooby-Dooby-Doo is shown to possess enough power to hold and destroy the box, which is basically just all of reality, including all of fiction and non-fiction. This isn't to say he can destroy everyone in reality, but just that he can destroy the space and concept of all reality. And even with this guy being in the tournament, the manager always bets on Jogoat. I think it won't be a stretch to say that Jogoat beats Shaggy quite often in there. Insane. And now for the final showing Jogoat has. In the Jogoat prequel novels, he encountered Shrek, who is, in the official fiction databook, described as a beyond omnipotent ogre with power surpassing even that of the highest gods. The almighty Shrek resides in a swamp, which is the key to his above boundless power. Shrek has also performed some insane feats of his own. During one of his training sessions, he destroyed and recreated all of DC and Marvel 10,000 times per second for 10 days straight, and he didn't even feel warmed up afterwards. He fought the being known as Solo King Itachi, who could no-diff Hagoromo, who scales above Madara, who created at least 7 billion alternate realities in the Naruto War Arc in an instant. Solo King Itachi can also give Chibi Momo, another being with ridiculous lore, a run for his money, and with all that Itachi hype, he's still lost to Shrek. With all that being said, Jogoat fought Shrek, and while he lost in the end, the fight was fierce and Shrek clearly acknowledged Jogoat as the strongest fighter he had ever fought after Jogoat unleashed his infinite volcano technique, which creates an infinite number of Jogoat clones, all of which are near the original's power. And again, this was in the prequel novels. Jogoat could have very well grown stronger since then. With both sides covered, I think it's pretty obvious who will win, but first let's just acknowledge that if Jogoat and Boros met, they'd instantly recognize each other's strength and become best friends. But with that being said, Jogoat is definitely stronger than Boros and has better hacks abilities. Even if Boros can somehow match Jogoat in strength and speed, all the goat would need to do is either open his domain or unleash the infinite volcano technique, and that's GG. For now anyway. It is important to keep in mind that Boros is still growing stronger, and it's even been foreshadowed a little bit that he and Jogoat might meet in the upcoming Boros Hida novel series, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. But with nothing else to say, I wish you a good rest of the day. Goodbye.